Training Tank Throwdown!
This week, we are in beautiful Roswell, Georgia at Training Think Tank HQ.
Our demo athlete this week is the one, the only, the Travis Mayer.
We announce a new Throwdown right here on YouTube every Thursday at 1 p.m.
Join our entire community to practice the skill of competing.
Use the next 2 days to plan a strategy, grab some friends, and throw down on Saturday. This week's workout is 3 rounds for time of 25 power snatches, 50 wall balls, and 100 double unders.
All right, and we're about to watch Travis go split screen with his first attempt, except no, we're not, because I actually made him redo it because I deleted the original file.
Did you really?
Psych.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was waiting for it to come up. Man, everyone's
you
going to be so... I had no clue.
I didn't tell anybody.
Oh,
Hilarious.
oh, that's funny. Okay.
All right, so a little backstory. I kindly asked Travis to demo this throwdown workout for us. We wanted someone that was good at all these movements. Travis is, and he did it the first time. And then what happened, Chris?
I went to go edit it, and there was no file. So I walked up to Travis. I was like, hey, man, you think you could beat your old score? And I got him all hyped up, and he was like, yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, I did get
And
me
he
hyped
did.
up because
All
I
right.
thought we were going to go side by side. Now,
Okay, but you did beat
You
your
tricked
score.
me.
What was the time difference?
Around a minute 20,
Wow.
minute 25, I think.
You know
in
what's
2
funny
weeks.
is while he was going during this attempt that you're watching, I was like, oh no, what if he's like behind his pace and he just quits?
You didn't say
No,
anything.
you have to go, Travis.
There was a point where I was like, if I'm really like far off, I'll just stop. But I
glad
definitely
you
did
did.
it.
It
worked
I
out
definitely
for
did
you.
it. Yeah, it
All
worked
right,
out.
so let's go ahead and dive into the workout. It starts with 25 power snatches, and you just did those unbroken.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
most people probably shouldn't, but for maybe a high-level athlete, a games athlete like you, 75 pounds is pretty light, so you can kind of cycle through those quickly.
Yeah, I feel like I've done enough versions of Randy and enough light barbell snatches that you just get kind of comfortable doing it. And I always feel like there gets to a point where it never really gets worse. I guess it's kind of a weird thing to say, but I don't feel like it ever gets worse at a certain point. Like, yeah, your grip blows up, but the feeling just stays there in the shoulders. Like, it's heavy and hard, but you just got to hang on.
So Coach
Well,
Mia...
if you're not a games athlete, ignore that advice.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was like, Mia, being the coach, knowing what most athletes can do, how would you recommend they break up the wall ball? Well, really all 3 movements, because these can all be bottlenecks for people.
Yeah, so all of these movements are what I would call easy break movements, which means you don't lose a lot of time taking a quick break. The bar has to go back down to the ground for a power snatch anyways, so if you stand up and breathe for 3 to 5 seconds, that doesn't lose a lot of time. For wall balls, it's an easy drop. Double unders is a really quick reset. So I would pick which movements you think are going to make the other movements slow down more and just come up with a break plan from the beginning. I don't think this is one that you should really front load by doing bigger sets and then just breaking in the future, because you're probably going to blow up. Skill-wise, I'd say double unders would be the spot where if you do have a skill limitation, that's where you need to pay the most attention and not set yourself up to be blown up on double unders, because you can trip a lot there.
Yes.
You're not going to fail a power snatch or fail a wall ball, but set yourself up to not be just tripping on double unders because you're so messed up.
So Mia, you talked about picking the movements maybe that will impact the other ones more. And
Right.
for me, that'd be the double unders. Like power snatches feel pretty good. I would definitely break the wall balls. I'm not doing Travis's strategy here, but like I feel like I can go fast there. But for me, double unders blow me up. Like grip limitation, my heart
he
rate, my shoulders.
tripped.
Yeah,
What a chump.
amateur mistake.
catching up, I'm catching up.
Amateur mistake.
So if you're someone like me that's maybe not great at double unders, Mia already said it's a really easy movement to break. Take a couple deep breaths, shake your arms out, and then go again. You only lose 2 to 5 seconds. If you need to take a longer break, 5 to 10 seconds. But you could lose it a lot more if you blow up later in the workout. So I would probably do like 25s there and then try to go a little bit faster on the other movements.
Yeah, I think, and because I already did this once, right? I already had a gauge of what it's going to feel like, so it kind of made going around the second time a little easier to dive in and really kind of suffer on this one, more or less. The first time I actually did this was kind of like when we first got back into training, really, and tried to start doing some fitness. But I broke the second set of wall balls, and then had one more trip on the double under, where you'll see in this one I went unbroken on the first 2 sets of bar, and then all 3 sets unbroken on the wall ball. Ugh.
Gross. You do I really like that you just kind of keep your hips up and hinge, but a lot of people need to set up a little bit more. But your muscle snatching, would you recommend that for most people, or do you ever dip under a lighter barbell?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the next set, you'll kind of see there's a little bit more of a drop under of the bar, but at 75 pounds, it's just a little more comfortable and smoother for me to muscle snatch it, where the power snatch sometimes I feel like takes a little bit more effort. I mean, I think this was talked about at the skills camp for those of you that were here this past weekend, of just being able to muscle snatch it and move a little bit more efficiently. And then you feel a little bit better for me.
If you are someone whose shoulders are a limiter on wall balls, which I find for me, that's usually what blows up. My legs always get sore, but my shoulders are what slow me down in a workout.
Mia's basically, she has the ball still in her hands when she's touching the target, so don't listen to her.
If that's the case for you, then probably start with a power snatch so you have a little bit of a dip under and you save your shoulders some. Travis's way is very fast. It's very efficient for him, but it's a lot more on the shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely kind of shoot it like a basketball too. Like, as you can see, I bring it to the right side more. I kind of just shoot it off the shoulder, and I don't know why that's just always felt more natural. But I also feel like I support the ball way more with my shoulders and hands more than like holding it in front of me and like isometric holding it like directly in front of my face.
We've talked about this before, but things that you can do if you have good squat mobility with the wall ball, you want to shorten the rep, widen your stance out a little bit. You've seen some athletes that do this really well. Noah Olson comes to mind where he like has a really wide stance.
He's in a split.
He is in a split
when he's doing it.
If you're tight, then it's going to be really hard to do that, but that's a good way to kind of speed up your reps, especially over the course of 150.
Unbroken again, baby.
So, Trav, you gave a double under clinic at the camp this past weekend. What are some tips here? Some positions you're holding that other people don't?
I think one is the hand position, right? Like allowing that like kind of 3 to 6 inch box around the hips of where the hand placement is, trying to look about 6 to 8 feet in front to allow the shoulders to kind of like roll forward and relax. I try to let the elbow, of course, like relax and kick back. That tries to let my shoulders and biceps relax even more, especially in a dense kind of like shoulder workout this feels. So for me, it's just focusing like really on the wrist and like head position to stay in that. And it allows me to kind of like breathe and relax because there's not tensioning up. You're not opening up the shoulders. You're not rotating the hands out and causing more bicep burn to go to the barbell and feel the same thing.
The big thing I noticed when I was filming you is you were kind of telling, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were kind of telling them to have like an ugly shoulder position where it's like shoulders rounded forward kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like in most other things, right? It's like back set tight if you're setting up on a snatch where like this, you kind of want the shoulders to be roll forward and in a relaxed position the whole time. And I think it's really noticeable probably more here because you're going directly into another like grip shoulder intensive like snatch wall ball where it really starts to blow up. But yeah, it's just being efficient. And I think the biggest thing is just a lot of practice. Yeah, I mean, it's years and years of practice to get to that point where they feel efficient. But the double unders, every time I got to them in there, I was like, all right, this is your recovery going to the other two movements.
And again, I mean, most of us are not going to feel that. So if you need to break those up, that's a really good place to break. See, now this is your first break on the barbell. When Travis gets back to it, I want to talk kind of about this high hip position I was mentioning in the last set or the last round. This is really efficient with lighter barbells. Now, Travis wouldn't keep his hips that high if he was snatching 185 pounds. He'd set up more and do like a more technical snatch. But for those athletes that can cycle the barbell fast and that are comfortable throwing 75 or 55 pounds over their head in a workout like this, play around with this position where your hips stay a little bit higher, your shoulders are dropping, and then you can see here he's kind of snaking underneath the barbell a little bit with a power snatch. It's really efficient.
You can also widen your feet a little bit more if that position is a little too much for your lower back. Even if it's wider than it would be for a heavier snatch, I think that's okay for this light of a bar.
Yeah, you don't need as much force through your legs to get it up for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I usually just keep wherever I squat. That's kind of where I set my feet and I don't move them until I start power snatching more or less.
Do you always shoot the ball from that side?
Always.
Yeah, it really is a basketball shot.
It is a basketball shot. It just kind of stays on the right side, and I don't know why, but it just feels more comfortable there.
I have the ball in front of me, and I use my chin.
It's like up against your face.
I actually have like a little cut right now.
Man, the like the laces, they really can hurt.
Yeah.
I've nailed my face with them before.
They do hurt, especially with the 30-pound ball. That thing comes back down, you're like, ow.
There's
that
such
doesn't
a difference.
feel good at all.
All right, so do you go unbroken on this set too?
Yeah.
Oh, surprise.
It was definitely something that was more my own mental goal of wanting to do. Mike, the last time, was like, I bet you won't go sub 12, and I failed and didn't do that. And I was like, I need my redemption of being able to go sub 12. And based off of looking at the clock when I finished the second round, I think I was at like 7:05, 7:06. So I was like, all right, you're definitely on pace. If you don't get sub 12, we definitely blew up.
You blew up, yeah, big time.
Which is possible, right? Like anything is possible in this. But it was something mentally that I was going for. And for me, I always think small set. So I count to 10. And that's like, okay, let's do 5 more. Okay, add 5 more. And I think for me, that's better than looking at it as like, hey, I have 50 to do. If I like get to 10, get to 20, get to 25, and they're like, oh, well, now you're just downhill, and then you keep chipping away. That's something mentally that has allowed me to, I feel like, be able to go deeper into bigger sets of kind of challenging the mind and body a little bit on that.
You got to keep in mind you are still doing Karen, so I would probably think about breaking them just like you would if you were just doing 150 wall balls for time. With other movements, obviously it's gonna make it a little bit harder. But like for me, instead of thinking about 150 unbroken, I'm gonna do maybe one big set at the beginning. So maybe for those that are good at wall balls, you do your first round unbroken or in 2 sets, and then you start breaking them into. Travis, you talked about mentally you're doing them in 10s, but actually breaking them into 10s or 15, 15, 10, 10, so that you can keep moving and make everything else efficient in the workout.
You could also take the Jake Berman approach, which is very effective, where you do 10s throughout, but the ball hits the ground and you pick it right back
For
up.
sure.
That
Yeah.
little
He's very fast
reprieve
with
of the
that.
shoulders can make a big difference, but you have to hold yourself to that quick clock, which takes some practice.
It is hard. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
train it for sure.
Yeah.
Travis, you're already talking about this, but you can notice again, just as we're watching him kind of in a 45-degree angle, shoulders are a little bit rolled forward. He's kind of hunched. And the one thing Travis does so well is his hands stay in the same position. It is in that kind of 6-inch by 6-inch box, even tighter than that. But my fault is always spreading out. Oh, he finished. Now I can't even finish my comment. Don't spread your hands out like me is the point. Well done.
And there we
Good
go.
job,
We
Travis
improved.
2.0.
Yeah, we did it. I can't believe you deleted the file.
Aren't you just glad I made you redo it, though?
Yeah, I was.
I mean, that old Trav sucked.
Yeah.
Surprise, this one's going to get deleted too. Do it again.
See you next week. Pat, take us away.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.